Testament. I'd been reading Paul for 30 years in Greek. I mean, I was really reading it, and I couldn't figure it out until I did my research for this book. And then I realized the key to understanding Paul's understanding of Jesus, something that just had never occurred to me. Paul thought that prior to being a human being, Christ was a great angel. Christ was an angelic being who became a human being. So I'm not going to get into all the intricacies of that, about Christ as an angel. I'm going to talk instead about, I'm going to show how it works in one of the key passages in Paul that I think ties it all together extremely well. This passage is called the Philippians hymn, or the Philippians poem. It's probably not a hymn. Older scholars thought that this was a hymn that actually people would sing to Christ. This is a clear instance of a pre-literary tradition in Paul. This is a pre-literary tradition that Paul appears to be quoting. I've laid it out so you can see it works kind of like a poem. In fact, I think it probably was originally a poem. Not with rhyming words, but with stresses and accents that put it in poetic form. This is what the poem says. Paul's writing to the Philippians, and he's telling the Philippians that they need to live for others rather than just for themselves. They should live for others rather than themselves, and he's going to use Christ as the example of somebody who did that. Christ, who, although he was in the form of God, did not regard being equal with God something to be grasped after. Okay, so Paul's saying that before Christ even came into the world, he was in the form of God. So angels are divine-like beings that are they're like mini gods or demigods, semi-gods. Christ was in the form of God, but he didn't think that being equal with God was something that he should strive for. He didn't want equality with God, even though he was in the form of God. Instead, but he emptied himself, taking on the form of a slave and coming in the likeness of humans.